2 minutes to broadcast. One minute till broadcast. "30 seconds to broadcast." 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Begin transmission.
Live from the Hoosier Media Studios. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier on the Hoosier Media Network.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Boy, it is going to be one heck of a show lined up for you today. I am so excited about what's coming up today. We have a lot to get to, and we appreciate you hanging out with us here on The Voice of Reason here on the Hoosier Media Network. Thanks for hanging out, whether you may be listening Facebook Live, YouTube Live streaming, whatever, LinkedIn, Twitter, all that good jazz. Also on the Podbean Live app. We're streaming all over the place, and we appreciate you joining us each and every day. So we have the impeachment trial that apparently is going to be done and over by this weekend. I know. The Democrats losing their minds. See, they're in a conundrum right now. They don't know whether to say, yay, that's really good because we have Democrats in the Senate running for president and we can't be tied up with the impeachment hearing, so we need to get out back on the campaign trail. Or if they're saying, no, it's not quite over yet. No, we still got more witnesses, like John Bolton, who just flaked on us. So we'll get to some of that here later on in the show. I find it amusing. I think it's hilarious. Obviously, the Republicans are not going to be voting to impeach and remove President Donald Trump out of the U.S. Senate, so I'm not too terribly concerned about it. It's more for entertainment value for us. But nonetheless, they're all worked up about it, and we'll see how the Democrats respond after this weekend if they do the final vote, and he's still in office. I want to take you back in time just a little bit to, beginning in December, I believe. And do you remember a rally when one of the former presidential candidates, Beto O'Rourke, as Joe Pags likes to say, Beto O'Rourke, one of the presidential candidates, congressman from Texas, who wanted to challenge Ted Cruz for his seat in the Senate as well, was doing the campaign, and he went to the gun show and talked about, hell yeah, we're going to take your AR-15s. That was after the gun show. That was hilarious. Went to the gun show. I'm here for you, gun folks. We want to try and find a happy medium where everybody's happy. Tried to be cordial with them. And then, the next day, he's like, hell yeah, we're going to take them ARs. Well, he did a rally in Aurora, Colorado. And I remember that coming from Colorado all the way back when I interned out at the great Mike Rosen on 850 KOA. And he held a rally and had taken some questions from a crowd. And a certain individual had to say something like this when she got the microphone.
I am here to say, hell no, you're not. I have 4 children. I'm 5'0", 100 pounds. Cannot really defend myself with a fist. I want to know how you're going to legislate that because a criminal, by defense, breaks the law. So all you're going to do is restrict law-abiding citizens like myself.
That's awesome. That's just awesome. And now she is running for Congress in the state of Colorado, and we are pleased to have her on the program with us. It's Lauren Boebert here on the show. Lauren, how are you today?
I am doing so good. I have been fired up ever since a particular rally there in Aurora. And, I keep on pushing for freedom. I'm just tired of people not securing our rights. And so I'm not letting up on this.
It's really good to hear because there's a lot of people that are fired up, and we see what happened in Virginia where anywhere from 25, 30,000 people showed up to a rally.
There.
You were there too, so you traveled all the way out there to see the rally. How did it go?
It was, I guess it was a failure because I thought it was supposed to be a white nationalist rally. I didn't see any there though.
Yeah. The pictures I saw actually had people of all different kinds of colors that were taking pictures together and also had guns, and nobody got shot. What a concept.
No one got shot. I even saw Antifa being interviewed there, and they were like, oh, are you here to protest this? And they said, no, we want our gun rights.
Wow.
It was pretty amazing. So Antifa was there, and they were advocating for the Second Amendment, which was really great, and we're exercising our First Amendment in many facets there. But no, it was tremendous. I actually stood outside the fenced People's House of Virginia, the Capitol building there. I wanted to stay armed. When Governor Northam said that there was a serious threat,
right,
and then told us to show up unarmed. I was like, well, I mean, if this is credible, then I want to be able to defend myself if something is happening. And so anyways, I stayed outside the fence, and it was great. I really believe that there was more than double the announced attendance there. They said about 22,000. I mean, I really think it was closer to 40, but it was tremendous. And actually, I did hear that after that rally, President Donald Trump said that he is going to endorse Governor Ralph Northam. He saw what a fantastic job he did at building that wall, and now he wants him on his team.
Yeah, I love it. That's outstanding right there. That's the way it works. No, I love it. I'm so glad that you were out there. And now let me ask you this: you showing up to all these things, and obviously you own what is it, the Rifle Grill the Shooter's Grill out in Rifle, Colorado. I never been out to that part of Colorado. I grew up near the Bailey area, right outside of Denver, but. You've obviously been a strong advocate for the Second Amendment for a very long time. This choice to run for Congress, did this come before the rally, or did this come afterwards and say, you know what, we got some momentum, we need to make something happen here?
Yeah, so the choice did come after the rally, but it wasn't necessarily because of the rally.
Sure.
This is just an extension of what I've been doing for nearly 7 years. I am the owner of Shooter's Grill in Rifle, Colorado. Where all of our wait staff open carry firearms. But even that, it was through life experiences of why we even began to carry in the restaurant. I opened the restaurant just when times were tough and our economy was bad, and I wanted to be able to give back to the community and put some of our people back to work and do my part. And so I opened the restaurant. We were just a Western themed restaurant named Shooter's Grill, with a spinoff of Rifle, Colorado. And shortly after we opened, a man was physically beat to death behind the restaurant. And so immediately prompted the question, how will I defend my people?
Sure.
And so that day, I decided to take action and began to open carry. Eventually, my waitresses asked if they could carry. We have wonderful training in place and all of this stuff. We do concealed carry training right there in the restaurant. And, next thing I knew, 2020 was doing a national story on us, calling Shooter's Grill the safest restaurant in the country. And so this desire to do my civil duty as a congresswoman, that's just an extension of what I've been doing. I've been traveling to states advocating for the Second Amendment and advocating for freedom. And after the Beto O'Rourke rally, I knew that there needed to be more action put to this advocacy. And, I went to his rally in Aurora, Colorado. I drove 3 hours to be there with my Glock on my hip.
Mm-hmm.
I looked him in the eye, I told him, hell no, you're not going to take our guns. And I did that because I didn't see anyone else doing it. And now he's no longer running for president. He's at home, cuddled up on his couch with his wine and his cat, and I'm running for Congress. So, I just don't see many congressmen standing up for freedom, and I see a whole lot of them giving it away.
I love it. He's probably sitting in his safe space right now of his home. That's probably where he's at. I love it. And just the sound of Shooter's Grill in Rifle, Colorado is probably the most American thing that you could probably hear at all. And it's fantastic. Yeah. Let me ask you this. We had 3 candidates that were running for president that made the gun issue the number one priority of their campaign. It started off with Eric Swalwell saying we need mandatory buybacks for the firearms. He's gone. Then we had Beto O'Rourke say that, hell yeah, he's going to take away your AR-15s. He's gone. We had Kamala Harris that said that she was going to give Congress 100 days of her presidency and then she would use an executive order to take guns. She's gone. Do you think that the candidates running for president are now going to shy away from the gun issue because that's maybe what scared them away because many Democrats like firearms? Or candidates like Michael Bloomberg, who actually fund a lot of anti-gun rallies and anti-gun agendas, are going to be able to step in and actually consume that and make it a topical issue come 2020's elections?
Well, I think if there's anything that we've learned from Democrats is they don't learn from their mistakes. They just retry them, and really, I'm seeing some issues with Republicans. We need Republicans who appease the Democrats and try to negotiate with them and give them a little bit of our rights, and thinking that will be enough and it will make them stop. But it's never enough with the Democrats, and it's so hard watching Colorado become so liberal in our country. And, that's why I am stepping up to do this. So, yes, I do believe that their stances on the Second Amendment were to their demise, but I don't believe that they're going to learn from it. And then on the flip side, you have me, which, at a glance, people could say, oh, owner of Shooter's Grill, she walks around with a Glock on her hip. She's a single issue candidate. But I mean, really, when you think about it, freedom is the issue here.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have a principled person who's going to stand on the Constitution and hold true to those values, it really doesn't matter the policy details that follow, because you know that they'll be solid if there's a solid foundation to fall back to.
Well, exactly. You know exactly what you can fight for based on those principles. We're talking with Lauren Boebert. LaurenForColorado.com is the website, Lauren Boebert. And I wanted to ask you about that. Your run for Congress. Talk about some of the other issues that may be top of mind. Obviously, the Second Amendment's a huge one, and we need that representation, especially after a bit of a hit the NRA's taken with some of their internal affairs they're trying to clean up, and we need that presence. But when it comes to budgetary issues, when it comes to constitutional overreach into our states, I mean, how do we start cleaning some of this stuff up?
Yes. Well, first of all, I recommend Ken Buck's book, Drain the Swamp. That's what needs to happen. We need to drain the swamp, and we need to put term limits on these bureaucrats that are really the ones who are destroying our nation. And we need a balanced budget. As Colorado's 3rd Congressional District Congresswoman, I will introduce a bill for a balanced budget every year, because that's what we need. We need to quit this deficit spending. It's really, we're going broke. Mm-hmm. And, we can't tax our way out of it and just keep taking from the people. We need to stop this government overreach. And really, I believe that more people are waking up and becoming engaged in government and politics and policy, because they're understanding that it's time we, the people, get into these elected positions to limit government and give power back to the people. Stop this government overreach. Here in Colorado, national popular vote was forced upon us by our tyrannical governor, Jared Polis. He tried stealing our votes for president. And, just like with Beto, I told him, hell no. Liberals make me say that a lot lately. But, I became the second largest signature gatherer in the state for a petition that we had to get national popular vote on the ballot, rather than our electoral college votes just being taken away from us. And so now here in Colorado, we all have an opportunity in November to tell them, hell no, we are keeping our electoral college votes. And our representative here, he didn't say a peep about it, and this absolutely determines, how we will elect the president of the United States. And so I'm tired of our elected officials shying away from these issues that need to be won. We have Nancy Pelosi and AOC and her squad and the rest of these left-wing lunatics who are going unchallenged. And we really need we need a fighter who's going to stand up to them and stop this progressive socialist narrative that is destroying our country.
There's so many directions we can go with that, and I'm so glad you brought all of it up. Let's start off with the national popular vote. We've talked a lot about that on the show, and I got to say, coming from Colorado, which I love Colorado. I used to be a snowboarder. I absolutely love the state, but the way it's gone so far, I'm kind of glad that I'm not there anymore just because of the direction it's gone. But we need fighters like you to be able to try and turn it back to what it needs to be, because it's a beautiful state that I think everybody needs to experience. And I love the primary process of how Colorado does it, where you almost have like an electoral college, a voting of delegates to go and vote for someone when it comes to like a presidential primary in the state. But the national popular vote is a complete disaster. And the fact that they jumped on board with that really made me sad. I don't know how you repeal something like that.
Right. Well, we were successful in our petition because our governor, he signed it into law. This is a done deal. But there was no safety clause attached to that. So we were able to petition and collect signatures. And like I said, it was the second largest signature gatherer in the state for that. And so now we as a state, we get to vote and choose if we want to go forward with national popular vote. So now it's our job to inform the citizens of Colorado the dangers of losing our electoral college vote. In the western slope of Colorado, you hear issues that are so important like agriculture and water and our just our natural resources. And without our electoral college votes, we don't get to keep those. They're all going to be promised away down to California. Mm-hmm. And Colorado will ultimately just dry up and be a dust bowl. And so that right there, just protecting our natural resources, is huge with our electoral college votes. I mean, we really need a say in who our president is.
Yeah, no, amen to that. Let's say you get into Congress, and as you mentioned, a couple of the Democrats that are leading it right now, hopefully by the end of this election, at the end of the year, the House is no longer under control of Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats. But Nancy's been really the puppet, I think, in a lot of this because of the ideologues like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who just doesn't understand how politics works. And she's been kind of the one pushing the party into things that I think they're very uncomfortable with. How fun would it be to be able to get up in D.C. and be able to challenge her with some of the stupidity she's come out with?
Yes, that will happen. I will take the socialist on. This is America, and we stand for freedom, not socialism. And and truthfully, I think I'm in a position where I can take on someone like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez more than other congressmen, we'll say.
Sure.
And I'm just in a better position to do that, and I'm not afraid to do it. I won't shy away from that just because it's controversial or maybe it's not politically correct. I'll tell you what's not politically correct: socialism. And I am a mother of 4 boys. I am raising them to be men, and that's not going to come from entitlement or safe spaces or government handouts. It's going to come from these conservative values that we have embraced and really live by. And as a mom, I refuse to send my boys out into a socialist nation. So I will do everything that I can to secure our country. I want to be a good example for my boys and show them that we all have a responsibility to stand up for freedom.
Amen to that. Yeah, if they were in control, they'd be the beta male sitting in the safe space and holding teddy bears right now, which is kind of what they would like. Let's talk about the Republican Party for a second. I mean, actually, it's obviously challenging a candidate right now in the primary race and going as the conservative, which I love it. I mean, again, from Shooter's Grill in Rifle, Colorado. I mean, that can't be much more conservative than that. How can you try and remind some of the Republicans that have been there for a while that we need to stand back on conservative principles, come back to the roots and the platform of the Republican Party, and not waver, because we're very critical of the Republicans at many times of being very wishy-washy and spineless.
Right. And I think Republicans know that. Obviously, we overwhelmingly voted in President Donald Trump, and President Donald Trump was not a moderate. We didn't elect him because he was wishy-washy. We elected him because we believed that he would get the job done that he promised, and he's keeping promises on a regular basis. So in my district, especially, President Trump won by 12 percentage points, and Republicans are going to win this district again. President Trump is going to be here a lot campaigning, and our voters are going to show up because national popular vote is going to be on the ballot because people like me put it on the ballot. Mm-hmm. And, the current congressman, he is a Republican, but really he is a Republican in name only. And the voting record speaks for itself. Congressman Scott Tipton did not run as a moderate, and he ran as a conservative Republican. He said he was going to fire Nancy Pelosi. Well, now she's the Speaker of the House. He said that he was going to bring Colorado common sense to D.C. and get the budget under control. Well, now we're, $22 trillion. And, just all these things. He says that he's pro-life, yet when he had a chance in 2015 to defund Planned Parenthood, he voted to continue funding them along with 186 Democrats. Just recently in December of last year, Scott Tipton voted yes to the Farm Workforce Modernization Act, House Bill 5038, which granted amnesty to 1 million illegal immigrants. And not only that, but voted yes to give them $1 billion of our taxpayer dollars to provide for their housing, for them, their spouses, and their children. We have two other staunch conservative Republican representatives in Colorado. We have Doug Lamborn, and he voted no to this garbage. He said no to amnesty. Mm-hmm. And Ken Buck, he also voted no, and he said, quote, "This opens the door to a massive amnesty." And we didn't elect the congressman to vote yes to amnesty. So I believe if he ran his campaign again on that, he would not be our congressman.
Sure. No, that's very true. And I think Colorado is very torn on that issue with certain areas of the state, and especially with how progressive it's gotten. I think it's very interesting. And I know this is more on the state level, but do you think that Colorado's going to kind of swing back the other way a little bit? That maybe the state legislature that's gone far left and socialist, even Denver City Council, where the city councilwoman said that she didn't believe in any kind of private property and wants a complete communist mentality in the Denver city limits, to the governor in Colorado. Do you think that the pendulum's going to swing back because they just can't handle the ridiculousness there anymore?
I do. Mainly because I'm here with the people, and I know how energized people are getting over this. You know, we were quiet for a while. We were kind of, I guess, asleep. We as conservatives, we want to live a quiet, peaceful life. So when things are good, they're good. We don't need to work at them. But, you know, there is no rest for the wicked. And, you know, they snuck in there and they took over. And now we're awake, and we will get our state back. And I believe me running for Congress, I will do everything that I can to encourage that to happen in our state. I'm running for Congress because we are in a battle and for the heart and soul, not only for our country, but for our state. And like you said, you know, our personal freedoms are under assault. Our constitutional rights are under assault. They want to take our rights and our property and our freedom. And this is a battle that we have to win. You know, it's not really complicated. These crazy liberals and Democrats, they want to take away these rights from us. And as conservatives, we just want to keep them.
Mm-hmm. No, that's right here. We're talking with Laura Boebert, LauraForColorado.com, LaurenForColorado.com. Make sure to check out her website. I know that you're short on time. We got just a few minutes left here, but final words, the push, the activism to get people engaged. I know that right now the impeachment trial's big. At least the Democrats think it's big, which we haven't seen much excitement from them to actually turn out to vote. But Republicans are turning out en masse. We saw the campaign contribution numbers for President Trump in the last quarter, and he killed it with like $48 million in the last quarter. Republicans are energized right now. How do we keep that momentum going from now until November without getting tired or stagnant?
We just keep winning, and I believe that this message is not dying off. We do have a fantastic president. I've been with him since the day he announced. I was so excited when he announced. I was like, finally, if not a politician getting in office. And you know, so I believe that he's going to keep the message going and just keep gaining momentum. You know, like I said, I was in Virginia for their Second Amendment rally, and what I saw that day was President Trump just won Virginia. Mm-hmm. I mean, everywhere we go, he is winning. He is gaining support, and even with this campaign that I'm running, I'm getting emails from people saying, "Thank you for stepping up. You've encouraged me to also run for city council, for school board, for county commissioner." And, you know, and so if someone is sending me, Lauren Boebert from Little Rifle, Colorado, messages like that, I can't even imagine the millions and millions that President Trump is inspiring on a regular basis. And really a way is being pioneered, and we're being given permission to get into these positions where we weren't invited to go before. You know, before it was almost like by invitation only. Let me check your credentials, and, you know, if you've worked your way up enough, maybe. And, you know, now we're saying, forget your system. We're going to disrupt that and get regular citizens in these offices and in these positions, and get our country back to our foundation.
No, absolutely. You're right. I mean, President Trump did inspire that, being the non-politician, and you are inspiring for many. I mean, the fact that you stand up to a presidential candidate and say, hell no, you're not going to take our firearms, I mean, that rallies a lot of people. I mean, this kind of movement started off with the Tea Party years back, the Tea Party movement that was a few years back, and it went up for a while, and then that kind of fizzled out and they didn't know where else to go. And now this conservative populist movement of saying, we're not going to take this anymore. You don't need those credentials, or you don't need to be a lifelong politician to run for office. It's so heartwarming and exciting to see that many people, including yourself, want to actually step up and try and do that, because it means that you're passionate about wanting to do something, not just for a political career.
Absolutely. And this is not a political career for me. This is my civic duty. You know, even my volunteers, we don't have paid staff getting our message out. You know, so when it comes to my campaign, I know I'm going to be outspent, but that's part of being a fiscal conservative also. I don't need to raise as much money as the incumbent does, because I have a better message, and I have better messengers. I have volunteers who are putting their lives on hold to carry out this message, and to create a change in our district, in our state, and in our country. And that's not something you can buy with a staff. I don't see the incumbents' paid staff putting in the work that my volunteers are, and that right there is just so motivating. And that to me is just the American dream. You want something, you have the vision for it, and you get other people on board, and you just go for it. In our case, it's really a story of faith, because we see the end and we're at the beginning, so we're speaking out what we see in the end, what we want, and then we begin it.
Sure.
We speak the end from the beginning, and then we start the battle. And that's what our founders did. When they declared independence, they weren't free, but they had a vision for freedom, and they declared their independence. And then the next day, they went out and began to fight for it. They even celebrated it like they already had it, like the battle was won. And then they went out and fought.
I got to say, it's so enlightening and nice to hear someone actually mention the Constitution and some of our founding fathers, because that just seems so foreign in politics today. And let me tell you, talking about the non-paid campaign and people helping out, I got to give her props. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez won her district with 15,000 votes because she hit the pavement hard and campaigned, and she obviously has no idea what she's doing. So if she can do that, anybody can actually hit the streets and pavement and actually make something happen in Congress. So I love it. It's Lauren Boebert. Make sure to visit her, laurenforcolorado.com. I know you got to run, but any last words before? We got a lot of listeners out in Colorado, all over the web. So any last words before we let you go? And we got to get you back on the show again soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, just thanks for having me. And yes, tell all your listeners, go to laurenforcolorado.com. I need all the support that I can get. And, like John Adams says, duty is ours and results are God's. And so really this is in his hands. But more than that, it's in our hands. The duty is ours, and I'm traveling all over the state, all over the district, meeting with new people. Just with the petitions that we had last year, I was face to face with roughly 30,000 Coloradans talking about these issues, and so I know the value that people place on their rights and their freedoms, and how much they want to keep them and just stay free. And so I'm going to continue to go out and meet with these people. And go to laurenforcolorado.com. Follow me on Facebook. Share my videos. Share my message, because that's really going to help us with the cost. Like I said, I'll be outspent, but we have social media and we could use it to our advantage. So go to Lauren Boebert for Congress to find me on Facebook. And somebody just crashed into the McDonald's building.
Outstanding.
Maybe I should go help them.
There you go. Well, go do your civic duty and help them out. Lauren, it's been an honor to talk to you. Good luck with the campaign, and we will definitely get you back on again before the primaries.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. God bless you, and God bless America.
God bless America. I love it. Lauren Boebert right there. laurenforcolorado.com. Make sure to check it out and get all her information running for Congress in Colorado, the great state of Colorado. And Lord knows that Colorado needs some conservative fighters out there. We'll take a break. We'll get your phone calls. We'll get some comments going on. Right now, we got a lot of chatter going on in the chat rooms online, so Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and the Podbean live stream app. Lots of things going on. Make sure to check it all out right here on The Voice of Reason. Stay tuned. It's been a long, fun, nerve-wracking, and exciting journey to relaunch the program as an independent entity. Now we've launched our very own Hoosier Media Network to give you more content, more shows, more talk, on even many more different topics as well. We now have full reign to help fight for constitutional principles, traditional values, and even just individual improvement. But we need your help to reach more people. If you own a business or you want to help the show in any way, we're excited to work with our partners to take your message and ours to the next level. Together, we can educate, entertain, and bring wisdom and information to those who want it and to those who possibly need it. Let's fight for what's right together. Email us today at HoosierMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Again, if you're a business owner looking to get your brand out, or someone that just wants to help support the cause, we want to support you and support that cause as well. Email us at HoosierMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Again, HoosierMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Also, for more information, content on the show, or to reach us as well, go to HoosierReason.com. Again, HoosierReason.com. Hey, it's Andy Hoosier. As the show keeps growing, I want to make sure each and every Hoosier-holic stays in the loop. That's why you need to check out HoosierReason.com. Catch the weekly blog informing you on the latest news of the show, upcoming projects, and more. Plus, you can watch live shows, listen to all the podcasts, find affiliates of the show, catch special features, and a heck of a lot more. Plus, make sure to subscribe to our site and become an official Hoosier-holic. Get your monthly newsletter, latest news about the show, and recaps of current events all right to your email. It's the fastest growing show in America. Don't miss a beat. Go to HoosierReason.com. Again, HoosierReason.com. Hey, miss a show? Don't worry about it. You have plenty of ways to watch, learn, and be entertained while enjoying the Voice of Reason anytime that you want. And here's how to do it. First, become a Hoosier-holic by going to HoosierReason.com and subscribing to the site newsletter to stay up on the latest. Second, subscribe to the podcast. Under the show podcast tab, click on the link to the Podbean site and subscribe. You'll get notified anytime new audio pops up. Plus, if you have iTunes or Spotify, you can subscribe to the Voice of Reason on those as well and have the shows automatically downloaded to your device. Third, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go to youtube.com and search my name, Andy Hoosier, and subscribe to the page. There you can follow all of our live shows, posted videos, and more. All the links and info are at HoosierReason.com. Again, HoosierReason.com. Hey, it's Andy Hoosier. Want to join the show? We'd love to hear your thoughts during the program. And it's easy. First, send us a chat on the Facebook Live or YouTube Live streaming during the show anytime. Also, join us in the live chat room at HoosierReason.com. Just click on the Listen Live tab, watch the live stream, and chat with other listeners. You can also chat and even call into the show through the Podbean app. Just download the Podbean app on your smartphone, join the live stream, chat with other listeners, and even call us live through the Podbean app. You can argue with me, debate with me, or just let me know your thoughts of the show. No matter how you do it, be part of the show. Why? Because it's your show, and it's kind of the reasonable thing to do. The Voice of Reason, the show where you can chat, comment, or call in live each day during the program. All the information's at HoosierReason.com.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier on the Hoosier Media Network.
All right, welcome back into the show here on the Hoosier Media Network. Thanks for hanging out with us today on a Thursday. Great to have you along for the ride. And thanks again to Lauren Boebert coming on the program, laurenforcolorado.com. Make sure to check it out, and we appreciate her very much taking the time. I love how an interview ends with her saying, oh my gosh, someone just crashed into the McDonald's. Oh, I love it. This is the kind of activism we need. This is why Republicans are fired up. Am I wrong? Because people are saying, I've had it. I can do that. Let me take ownership of some of these issues. Let me do some of this stuff because I'm sick and tired of you not doing it. We made a blog, and by the way, if you haven't checked it out, go to HoosierReason.com. We have our blog, our latest blog up there. And I talked about an issue about the two-party system. To have a two-party system or not to. What's it about? Because so many people are frustrated with the parties. Progressives are upset because the Democrat Party's not embracing the socialist progressive agenda, and that's kind of the evolution of that party right now. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez trying to push it that way. That's why she hasn't paid her, $250,000 dues to the DCCC for the campaigns, because, well, they're not contributing to more progressive candidates to beat Democrat incumbents. Well, it's because the DCCC knows that they're going to lose those districts if they end up pushing for a more radical candidate. They like some moderates in some areas. They have to. They're purple areas. You can't have a radical person campaigning in an area where a Republican might lose and might win actually that seat and take them over. They don't want to do that. So the evolution is slowly being embracing, which they've always done it, the socialist mentality in the Democrat Party, but now they're beginning to get exposed and actually do it publicly and openly. On the Republican side, they're waffling. They don't know what to do. It was founded under conservative principles, limited government, less taxes, less government, less spending, all this good jazz. And now it's, well, many Republicans in many forms is, well, we'll cut spending for things we don't like, but we'll raise spending for other things we do like. Instead of saying, no, we don't want any more spending. We don't want any more government overreach. And the Republicans are trying to find their identity. And there are many people in this nation that just say, I've had enough. I'm done. I can't do it any longer. I'm going to go independent. I'm going to go third party. I'm just not going to vote. I'm going to put my blinders on because I can't deal with the back and forth. I can't deal with the stupid any longer. If you go on and you read the blog that we posted at HoosierReason.com a couple days ago, it really breaks down the history of the two-party system and where it came from, where actually Thomas Jefferson was one of them that believed in a two-party system and believed that if we created parties, it would, his idea, and it's an interesting concept, His idea was that if we create a two-party system, those that were not politically engaged in the system would be able to easily understand topical issues. The party could present it to them. This is the position we stand. This is where we stand on an issue. This is what we want to do. And then this is what they want to do. And you could choose which party you want to partake in. And it was a good idea, but many founding fathers were very concerned that the two-party system would tear us apart and actually take us against each other and pit us against each other, which is kind of what's happening now. Democrats have gone so socialist and radical that many people don't want anything to do with a Democrat. Democrats now believe that Republicans are nothing but elite, rich, white supremacists, and they don't want anything to do with Republicans. And that's not true. That's dumb to think that, but many do. Many believe it. So they go libertarian. And first off, let me just say that's a horrible idea. I have libertarian aspects to me. I believe in many libertarian flavor stances on policy issues, but I will never, ever, 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 ever support the Libertarian Party. And let me tell you why. Because a third party will never win an election, other than the random here and there. 90% of the time, the only thing a third party vote does is actually cast the vote to the person who's least likely aligned with you.
Andy, no it's not. It's for my candidate.
No, it's not. If you vote and you get 7% of the vote, and it was a 5% margin between the Republican or the Democrat, more than likely libertarians lean more to the right, more conservative-ish. Maybe on some other topical issues, foreign policy, maybe some social issues. But for the most part, government spending. For the most part, budgeting, lower taxes, individual freedom. You do your thing, I do my thing. That's a conservative principle. I would say 80% of the alignment of libertarians falls under the conservative, not Republican, but conservative umbrella. And the majority of conservatives actually go with the Republican Party because that's the loudest voice. They have the loudest, most amount of money. They have the most amount of influence. So we try and use the Republican Party to advance our agenda, which is what the party is there for. Did you realize there's over 288 third parties in the nation? 288. At least the last I counted like a couple years ago. Maybe there's more now. Maybe there's less. I don't know. Point is, though, is that I will never vote for the Libertarian because if you get 7% of the vote and it was a 5% difference between the two candidates of the Republican and Democrat, you just now gave the election to the Democrat. Now, if you had to choose between the two...
I don't like Andy.
I know, but if you had to choose between the two, which one would you more likely fall in line with? 40% of the Republican versus the 20% of the Democrat? So now you just gave it to the election to the candidate who you least likely want. Which is why I always say, and I use this, and I will give full credit to the man who actually said this party trumps person. And that was my mentor back in the day when I first got involved with radio, and that was Mike Rosen at 850 KOA. And he used to get so much crap for that. So much heat for that. Party doesn't trump person. The person trumps the party. Does in the primary. Which is why the primary is so important, which is why we want to talk to candidates before the primary. We want to make sure that if they're going to run for office, or if they're in office, they're going to do what they say they're going to do, they're going to stand for what they say they're going to stand for, they're going to vote the way they say they're going to vote, and they're going to do it in the way that we like. You want to change the party if you're upset with the party, the Republican or the Democrat. Either party. If you're upset with either of them, here's how you change it. Other than getting involved, becoming a member of the party at the local level, running for, the county chair for the party, the county treasurer. I was the county treasurer for the county Republican Party in Kansas for a while. And I loved doing it. I wanted to help shape the Republican Party to the platform which I wanted to see fit within the party. You can do that. But what you can also do is go out and vote in the primaries. Primaries. To me, the most important election is the primary. The general election, you already know what you're going to vote for. That person's bad, that person's good, this person's evil, that person's great. You already know that. They pit each other against each other. It's the one-on-one head-to-head showdown, like a UFC fight where it's down to those two. The ideological war. But in the primary, with both Republicans and Democrats, you get to choose the platform. Because whichever candidate gets that nomination, they uphold that platform. They either vote for the loosey-goosey, we just want to go along, get along, or they say, no, I'm going to stand, I'm going to fight, and I'm going to do what's right no matter what. I'm going to stand and fight, even though it may be unpopular, even though people don't like it. I'm going to change the party because the reason I joined the party, remember, you're not forced to do it. The reason I joined the party is to stand for that platform, and they're not doing it, so I'm going to get in there and I'm going to do it myself. And that's how you change a party. Don't vote third party. I'm not telling you how to vote however way you want to, but at the same time, don't vote third party. It's terrible. It's dumb. You get, 2, 3, 4, 5% of the vote, and you're like, I did something. I stood on principle. Yeah, and you just lost it for the rest of us. Thanks a lot. Well, they were terrible. Well, you know what? It's not all purism either. You can't have purism. You can have purist mindset. You can have the purist ideology, but you have to apply that on how to apply the purism in real-world politics, which is step by step, baby steps, taking a step back, moving a step forward, but advancing down the road in the long term, and being able to do that in a cordial way instead of just saying it's all or nothing. Don't hold your flag running off the cliff. I'm a strong, staunch conservative. I will always stand for conservative traditional values, and I will always, if I ever got into office, I would always vote that way. But you can't just say all or nothing all the time. Not, you can on some places, but all the time you can't do that. And when you have candidates that are running for office and you say, I don't like 20% of what this candidate is doing, so I'm going to vote third party or not vote, that's hurting the political system. I don't like two-party systems either. It's a mess, but we have to come to the conclusion that that's what we have right now. And it's not going to change for a while. I hate to say, it's not going to change for a while. They have too much money. They have too much influence. There's nothing you can do to stop that. So you change the party within to make it represent you. And that's what you can do. Got to take a break. We got a lot of people jumping on the live stream at Podbean app, which we appreciate very much. We got a lot of people on the Facebook Live and YouTube Live stuff as well. So keep rocking there. We'll take a break. We'll get your phone calls, get your thoughts when we come back. When we come back, talking about activism and the excitement, because we are frustrated with what's going on. We see the Democrats spending hundreds of millions of dollars in an impeachment process that hasn't gotten anywhere. Now we hear potentially that the Senate may vote on the impeachment trial by the end of the week, by like this weekend, which means they've already made up their minds. Republicans aren't going to boot out President Trump. It's a done deal. The big star witness that the Democrats had was John Bolton. Look, he's turning on Trump, and he's actually like saying the way it is. And then we see interview after interview of him saying, oh, no, everything's like great and hunky-dory and just fine. And that completely got shattered. Democrats are out of witnesses. They don't know what else to do. They thought they had it, just like every other witness since the entire last 2-3 years of actually doing this garbage. They don't have any more witnesses. They're done. They're wrapped up. They're going to vote on it. It's over. And I can't wait to see the Democrats lose their minds next week when he doesn't actually get booted out of office with actually being criminally charged. And all of this has done nothing for the Democrats to actually get rallied. Nothing at all. Democrats are like, oh, we're still going through this. He's still in office? What the hell, man? The heck? I thought we were done with this stuff. But what it has done is it's rallied Republicans. And I mentioned the fundraising numbers. President Trump raised like $48 million in the last quarter. He already has $110 million in the bank. You need roughly $100 to $120 million to run for president, last I heard. He's already got that. The big news stories now are like, Democrats are raising more than Trump, but they're raising it for the individual candidates running in the primary to beat themselves up, which makes them more concerned. The latest study from the Associated Press. The Associated Press reported a public affairs research poll that showed that right now 66% of Democrats report high anxiety about the election, while only 46% of Republicans report a high anxiety. And it doesn't show whether it's for presidential races or local elections. It doesn't say that. But the fact that 66% of Democrats report high anxiety, their big focus is remove Trump, we hate Trump, we hate Trump, we hate conservatives. And they're realizing that Trump's not going to get removed from office. They realize that he goes to a rally and brings in 10 to 20,000 people every single time. And they realize that he's making massive amounts of money while the Democrats are beating themselves up. And the Democrats have zero front runner right now in their presidential race, which makes them very concerned, which is why you hear the story about, oh, Hillary Clinton sounds like she may be considering another run. She just made a comment a couple days ago and said, well, yeah, if I ran against Trump again, I'd win. Yeah. Why would she say that? Unless she's planning on doing it. Because they don't have a front runner and they're desperate. They're desperate. Which is why Democrats have 66% high anxiety right now about the election. Ah, crap. Trump's going to be in office for another 4 years. What are we going to do? We burned out all our fuel about calling him a racist, calling him a Nazi, calling him a hateful this, a hateful that, and then even trying to say that he colluded. He's still in office. What are we going to do now? I don't know what they do. Go to your safe space or something. I don't really care what you do. But regardless, that's what they're doing. 46% of Republicans, they're probably more concerned about, my guess at least, would be the congressional seats in local districts. Local districts, which is where politics should be in the first place. But the momentum is behind Republicans. We're excited. We're rallied. We see them trying to take guns away in Virginia. We see the national popular vote in many states like Colorado and others. We see many stupid laws. We see abortion bills trying to be passed for late-term abortion, like during the time of delivery. I don't want it anymore. We're fired up. We see the ridiculousness on the left side of the aisle, and we're not going to stand for it, which is why we have individuals saying, I'm not a politician, but I'm running for Congress to change this. And if you have people that have never been politicians running, imagine who is not running and how many people are fired up and saying, yeah, just wait till I get to the voting booth because it's going to be epic. It's going to be great. This is The Voice of Reason. Stay here on the Hoosier Media Network. It's been a long, fun, nerve-wracking, and exciting journey to relaunch the program as an independent entity. Now we've launched our very own Hoosier Media Network to give you more content, more shows, more talk, on even many more different topics as well. We now have full reign to help fight for constitutional principles, traditional values, and even just individual improvement. But we need your help to reach more people. If you own a business or you want to help the show in any way, we're excited to work with our partners to take your message and ours to the next level. Together, we can educate, entertain, and bring wisdom and information to those who want it and to those who possibly need it. Let's fight for what's right together. Email us today at HoosierMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Again, if you're a business owner looking to get your brand out or someone that just wants to help support the cause, we want to support you and support that cause as well. Email us at HoosierMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Again, HoosierMediaNetwork@gmail.com. Also, for more information, content on the show, or to reach us as well, go to HoosierReason.com. Again, HoosierReason.com. Hey, it's Andy Hoosier. As the show keeps growing, I want to make sure each and every Hoosier-holic stays in the loop. That's why you need to check out HoosierReason.com. Catch the weekly blog informing you on the latest news of the show, upcoming projects, and more. Plus, you can watch live shows, listen to all the podcasts, find affiliates of the show, catch special features, and a heck of a lot more. Plus, make sure to subscribe to our site and become an official Hoosier-holic. Get your monthly newsletter, latest news about the show, and recaps of current events all right to your email. It's the fastest growing show in America. Don't miss a beat. Go to HoosierReason.com. Again, HoosierReason.com. Hey, it's Andy Hoosier. Want to join the show? We'd love to hear your thoughts during the program. And it's easy. First, send us a chat on the Facebook Live or YouTube Live streaming during the show anytime. Also, join us in the live chat room at HoosierReason.com. Just click on the Listen Live tab, watch the live stream, and chat with other listeners. You can also chat and even call into the show through the Podbean app. Just download the Podbean app on your smartphone, join the live stream, chat with other listeners, and even call us live through the Podbean app. You can argue with me, debate with me, or just let me know your thoughts of the show. No matter how you do it, be part of the show. Why? Because it's your show, and it's kind of the reasonable thing to do. The Voice of Reason, the show where you can chat, comment, or call in live each day during the program. All the information's at HoosierReason.com. Hey, it's Andy Hoosier with The Voice of Reason. I know it's a lot, but make sure to join us and follow us on all the social media platforms you use for all your updates. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Minds.com, Instagram, you name it, we're on it. Just search Hoosier Reason on all the platforms. Watch live shows, information about the show, the latest chat about current events, and more. Just search Hoosier Reason on any of your favorite social media sites and keep some reason in your day. It's kind of the reasonable thing to do. It's The Voice of Reason all over social media. Hey, miss a show? Don't worry about it. You have plenty of ways to watch, learn, and be entertained while enjoying The Voice of Reason anytime that you want. And here's how to do it. First, become a Hoosier-holic by going to HoosierReason.com and subscribing to the site newsletter to stay up on the latest. Second, subscribe to the podcast. Under the show podcast tab, click on the link to the Podbean site and subscribe. You'll get notified anytime new audio pops up. Plus, if you have iTunes or Spotify, you can subscribe to The Voice of Reason on those as well and have the shows automatically downloaded to your device. Third, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go to youtube.com and search my name, Andy Hoosier, and subscribe to the page. There you can follow all of our live shows, posted videos, and more. All the links and info are at HoosierReason.com. Again, HoosierReason.com.
Broadcasting live from the Hoosier Media Studios, this is The Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Welcome back to it. Wrapping up the program here on a Thursday. Thanks for hanging out with us here. Always appreciated no matter where you may be. Facebook Live, YouTube Live, which please do me a favor and go to youtube.com, find The Voice of Reason, and subscribe to the YouTube page. I know that a lot of people have done it, but that's our big push right now, trying to bump up the numbers. Got to pump up them numbers, baby! When it comes to YouTube, we're doing great on Facebook. We're doing really well on the Podbean site, and you can do that as well. We're getting anywhere from like 1 to like 10 new subscribers every single day. after the show because of the live streaming. So thank you for that. We're getting a lot of cool people checking it out and subscribing to the Podbean. But go onto YouTube right now, find the Voice of Reason. You can find us live streaming right now. Subscribe to our page, and then get those up and going as well. Let's see. Comment on Facebook. The party does leave the person. It does. The party does leave the person. It strays. It goes off. It's like it's trying to find a proper analogy for this. It's like a machine. And if you don't guide the machine down the right way, then it begins to trickle off and trail off. And you need to be the one that leads the charge for it. The party, what's the purpose of joining a party? Let's start off that way. A political party. Republican or Democrat. Or Libertarian or whatever else. It's because they have visions or ideas or a platform that stick with you. And just like anything else, you need to do it in mass, in numbers, in order for you to get your agenda done. You can't just do it doing it by yourself, right? You can try, and I commend you for that. But you need the numbers. You need more people than just you saying, yeah, I want to do this. I want to support that agenda because that's a great idea. We need to work together to make that happen. That's what a political party is. It's a group of individuals who just say, I like this platform. I like the vision that you have because that's the same way I believe, and let's make something happen. That's what a political party is. And then when you join it and they start doing something different, you get frustrated. Very frustrated. I am livid with half the Republican Party. Absolutely livid. When they vote for budget increases, when they raise the debt ceiling over and over again, when they raise spending over and over again, when they don't repeal Obamacare when they promised to do so because they tried it when Obama was in office, they tried it 7 times. 7 times Barack Obama vetoed it. 7 times they didn't override that veto, and they said, we're going to do a full repeal. We're going to repeal and replace. We have all these different bills. It's ready to go. It's ready to go. We got it already. And then Trump gets into office, and the first 2 years we have a Republican-led House and a Republican-led Senate. It was narrow margins, but we had the majority. Didn't do it. Didn't do it. Why? Because there are many Republicans that didn't feel that way. There were, remember, then the debate came out. Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski. I know he wasn't in the Senate or in Congress or anything, but even here in Ohio, John Kasich. When they come out and they say, no, we get too much money from the federal government for Medicaid. We can't cut those state programs and cut it back down. We're just going to go ahead and keep Obamacare in place. We don't like government health care, but we've already expanded it in our state. And now we're dependent on that money. And if we cut Obamacare, we're not going to get that money in our state anymore. They've fallen for it. They've given up. And they bought into the garbage. So it's time to get them out. It's time to get them out. And Republicans, many of them campaign against conservatives. Many don't. Many just say, I'm a moderate Republican. I'm a middle-of-the-road kind of guy or gal. I work between the aisle. Here I work with everybody to make everything all happy, hunky-dory. But many of them campaign, I'm a solid conservative, and I'm going to stand for you and your small business, you and your individual freedom, you and your rights. But I'm going to keep Obamacare in place because we accept too much money as a state from that. I mean, come on, you can't do that. It's ridiculous. So you don't leave the party. Yeah, you're frustrated. I'm frustrated. You fix it. You get them out of office. You get somebody else in there. You run for office yourself. You set the platform. I got to give props to, and many states may have done this as well, but coming from the state that I did with the state of Kansas, Kansas was working on, the Republican Party in the state of Kansas was working on a way to expose, quote unquote, some of the moderate Republicans within the state legislature there, and even at the national level, to where they were going to post their voting records with the Republican Party and say, first off, you're going to sign this saying that you're going to believe in these principles. We believe in X, Y, and Z. As a Republican, we're going to fight for X, Y, and Z. And you're going to sign this and say that if you're a member of the Republican Party running as a Republican, you're going to sign this, and then we're going to post your voting record, and we're going to, kind of like a litmus test. And we're going to hold you to it. And if you don't, then we're going to expose that and let people know about it so that way they can remove you from office. And they talked about it, and it never quite happened, but they had definitely talked about it for a while. And I think many states need to do that as a litmus test for their party. And I think many people might get more involved with their party if that were the case. Many people might actually enjoy the party more if that were the case. I don't know. But don't run away from the party. Fix it. That's what we're here for. We're here to expose both sides of the aisle. We're here to expose people when they don't say they're going to do what they said they were going to do and they don't actually do it. And we're here to try and advance an agenda because you and me, we the people, we never get credit for how powerful we actually are. And I hate using the word we the people because we're never like really united as a whole people of all 300 and some odd million people in the nation. But we the people that actually want freedoms and actually we Republicans, we conservatives kind of get left out in the cold a long time. We have more power than we can ever imagine. So do Democrats. We, the people, have power and influence beyond what we ever imagine, which is why when we rise up and we have 30,000, 40,000 people at a gun rally, Democrats get scared. And they've stopped talking about it. Which is why they don't want corporations to be held accountable by the public. They want it held accountable by the elite government people who give them crony capitalist nice little handouts anyways. When we decide we don't like a company, we stop buying their product, and they go under. And instead of bailing them out like the government does, we should let them fail because they made poor business decisions, and we didn't want their product anyway. So somebody else in a wonderful, beautiful, free market, laissez-faire capitalist society, a new business venture, a new capitalist, a new person will rise up and fill that void in the market and fill the demands and the needs of the people. We're out of time. It's always fun to talk about this stuff and more. Until then, we're back at it tomorrow. No guest tomorrow, just you and I chit in the chat, advancing conservatism, having fun with it. Tomorrow we'll get your phone calls and more comments. We got a lot of people jumped on all over the different social media, so thank you for that. As always, we appreciate it so much as we're growing back the show from what we had before. Until then, it's not my show, it's your show. It's all about you. And it's time for you to speak up, speak out, speak loud, speak proud, speak the truth, and always speak some reason. This is The Voice of Reason. Everybody have a great Thursday.